Well, welcome to this video on emotional intelligence. It's been several months now since Marcus asked me to have a conversation with our agents regarding this topic of emotional intelligence. And this is a very important area that we want to investigate. And we do understand the importance of developing and maintaining our mental and physical abilities. But we can't just bypass the importance of developing and growing in the area of our emotions as well. The fact is, there isn't a clean break between our thinking, doing, and feeling. They impact one another or influence one another all the time. And if we neglect any part of our makeup, we can't expect all the others to be just fine. I mean, the way you feel physically affects the way you think and the way you feel, and the way you feel can affect you physically and mentally. And we could talk a lot about this interplay. But the fact of the matter is when someone is suffering in one way or another, we can't just separate one of these out very well. We can't. This is just a physical problem, or this is just a mental problem, or you're having some emotional problems. The fact is they are all intertwined carefully. And I think sometimes we get the idea of our mental and physical, but we want to make sure that we're giving just as much time to the very important area of our life of emotions. And specifically, how we interact with others, how we manage our own emotions, how we can help others manage their emotions. And that's what this is going to be about. And eventually we're going to see how this is a major area of growing and need, especially in the area of being a real estate agent. So let's go ahead and begin our time by defining what emotional intelligence is. So what is emotional intelligence? It is the ability to identify and manage your emotions and the emotions of others. So a couple key parts of that definition. Number one, identify and manage. Now those are the two verbs there, to identify and manage. And then the second part is the object of these verbs, your emotions and the emotions of others. You need to have a firm grasp on identifying and managing your emotions. As you walk into a situation, you are then equipped as someone who can manage your own emotions to help identify and manage the emotions of others. Now, sometimes it's good to give a definition of what something is by giving its opposite, what it is not. So let's take a look at what emotional intelligence is not. First of all, it is not the same as personal intelligence. There's many different areas of study. Personal intelligence is a little different. I want you to think in terms of DISC analysis, something that we've studied quite a bit, or Myers-Briggs personality tests. Personal intelligence measures the dimensions of personality, not necessarily emotions. And we'll see that in a moment. Through understanding one's personality, however, you can better understand what kind of circumstances may cause these emotions of fear or sadness or happiness, etc. And a better understanding of DISC, as we've been looking at, may help us understand what led to happiness for a person. But emotional intelligence measures how well we pick up on those emotions and how well we pick up on our own emotions. What gave rise to those, or what normally gives rise to certain emotions, that's more of a personal intelligence issue. So it's a little different than emotional intelligence. It's also a little different than social intelligence. Social intelligence, I want you to think in terms of culture, customs, networking, fitting in, if you will. So there are some people who are very intelligent at reading a room, and that has something to do with emotional intelligence, but they read the room more in terms of culture, or what does it take to fit in. And so that's more in terms of social intelligence, which is important, but just understand it's not strictly emotional intelligence. The other thing emotional intelligence is not, it is not the best predictor of success in life. Now, of course, when we say the word success, it's there in quotes because what do we mean by success? A lot of folks who have written on emotional intelligence have gotten very excited about it. It is a very exciting topic, but sometimes when you get excited about something, you can assign way too much power to it than it really does have. So you read some of these books, and it's propagating the idea that the most important predictor of a person's success in a job or any other way is their emotional intelligence. And unfortunately, we know that stats can be manipulated to say anything we want them to say. In fact, the two psychologists who pioneered the study of emotional intelligence have called out these popular books. They're saying that it is not the best predictor. It is a predictor, but not the best predictor of success. And again, this has a lot to do with what we mean by success. Think about it. The relationship between human behavior, circumstances, and outcomes. That's just too complex to make such a simple claim. So think of the most successful people in their particular fields, and you find out many of them are quite imbalanced in many ways. It all depends on what you call success. Now, you may be successful in your occupation, and especially if you're into engineering or working with things, not necessarily people or ideas and strategies. Sometimes being imbalanced is going to be really helpful to you. You focus in and you're not too caught up in what's around you in terms of personnel. However, when you have a job that works very closely with people, the emotional intelligence is going to be a far better predictor than other predictors of your success. And when we expand success to be beyond our vocation or occupation and all of life, we do see how emotional intelligence is extremely important of how you get along with others in the workplace, others in your family, or others within your social circles. And so it is a good predictor of success. May not be the best. That's to overstate it just a bit. So I study it. As I mentioned, it is an important predictor. And I think this will help you, especially in your area of vocation. It is crucial for you to have a high level of emotional intelligence because your entire job is fraught with emotions. You walk into a situation and people are making huge decisions, and some are very happy, some are very scared, some are fearful, some are frustrated at the negotiations going on. And so in your vocation, it is very important for you to have good social intelligence or emotional intelligence, especially because you want it to go well, because later on, one of the greatest things you have is your reputation and personal referrals. You want to get along with people. So when we talk about emotional intelligence, there are 5 basic components. Now, I say 5. Strictly speaking, there are 3 in emotional intelligence. When you read the academic works on emotional intelligence, there are 3. But this area of personal intelligence and social intelligence, it does intermingle. So most popular books put in these other 2 components that we'll look at, and I'll identify those in just a moment. So we're going to go ahead and consider all 5, even though strictly speaking there are 3. So these 5 components are, number 1, self-awareness. Self-awareness is recognizing and understanding your own emotions and the effect your emotions have on others. So it's self-focused in terms of knowing what I'm feeling and how it affects others. The second component is self-regulation. It is the ability to manage and appropriately channel your emotions. So it's one thing to know what you're feeling. It's another thing to be able to manage those feelings and channel them appropriately. Next one we have here is social skills or social intelligence. This is one of those other areas. It's the ability to communicate effectively through words and actions that are easily understood and accepted. And so as you communicate these emotions, can you read the room a little bit? Do you know their vocabulary? Do you know the way they think through issues and the words they use and what will connect with them? That's having social intelligence or social skills. There's also the area of empathy. It's the ability to understand how others are feeling. So this is when we make sure that we're moving just beyond our own self-awareness and self-regulation, but now, am I aware how others are feeling, and am I responding to them appropriately? And the last area is motivation. This actually goes into personal intelligence. Again, think DISC. What drives people? It's the desire to fulfill goals driven by internal and external factors. And it's pretty easy to read how a person is responding to external factors. It's those internal factors as they grow. That's showing some motivational maturity, or emotional maturity, or intelligence, specifically personal intelligence. So those are the 5 components. So we're going to look at a couple of examples. I'm going to show a couple of videos. And I apologize for the quality that you're going to experience of the video. This is from YouTube, and it's being put into this video, and I hope it comes across. I think it's good enough for you to get the point. But there's a movie from Pixar called Inside Out, and it's a great little movie, and the whole premise is you're watching this little girl grow up, and all the different emotions that are part of her life. You get to get into her head and see how each of those emotions are influencing how she acts. There's joy, there's fear, there's disgust, there's anger, there's sadness, and all those things. They try to take control of her life at different points to help her respond well to life, or appropriately to life. And there's a scene where joy is missing. Joy and sadness are both missing. And you see there's these missing components, and she's not exactly sure how to respond. And I'm going to show you 2 different clips. One clip is a dinner scene where they're having this conversation, and they're not going to give you any insight. I've cut out the scenes that show you what's happening on the inside of her mind. You just get to see the external. And that's all we normally get when we talk to people. We don't get to see what's happening in their head. Sometimes they're going to give this response, and you wonder what just happened there. Maybe it's an odd response to you, and wouldn't it be nice that if you could see into their mind what was going on, it would answer a lot of questions. And so we, in turn, try to interpret it. I acted that way, it's because I would feel this. And sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. This is why it's an area to study and to grow, and hopefully you get more accurate at assessing the emotions of others. But it's really neat to see this first scene, free of any insight. And then I'm going to show you the same scene again from the movie. This time I didn't cut, where they go into this little girl's mind and the dad's mind and the mother's mind. And you get to see all the different emotions at play. And it's just kind of a fun little scene. So hopefully we can end it that way. So let's watch this first scene where I've cut out all the inside. And all we get to see is just the outside. Let's see how that goes.
So, as it turns out, the green trash can is not recycling. It's for greens, like compost and eggshells. And the blue one is recycling. Not booze. I found a junior hockey league right here in San Francisco, and get this, tryouts are tomorrow after school. What luck, right?
Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic.
So, how was the first day of school?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know.
Ahem.
Ah, so, Riley, how was school?
School was great, all right?
Riley, is everything okay?
Riley, I do not like this new attitude.
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Listen, young lady, I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from.
Yeah, well, this...
That's it. Go to your room. Now.
Okay, so that's the first scene where you just see what happens at the dinner table, and all you see is the outward expressions, and you're not exactly sure what led to these outbursts, and why does each parent behave the way they do? What emotions are at play for them? So now we get a little bit more insight in the second video.
So, as it turns out, the green trash can is not recycling. It's for greens, like compost and eggshells. And the blue one is recycling. And the black one is...
Riley is acting so weird. Why is she acting so weird?
What do you expect? All the islands are down.
Joy would know what to do.
That's it. Until she gets back, we just do what Joy would do.
Great idea. Anger, fear, disgust. How are we supposed to be happy?
Hey, Riley, I've got good news. I found a junior hockey league right here in San Francisco, and get this, tryouts are tomorrow after school. What luck, right?
Hockey?
Uh-oh, what do we do?
Guys, here, you pretend to be Joy.
Won't it be great to be back out on the ice?
Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic.
What was that? That wasn't anything like Joy.
Because I'm not Joy?
Yeah, no kidding.
Did you guys pick up on that?
We did.
Something's wrong. Should we ask her?
Let's probe, but keep it subtle so she doesn't notice. So, how was the first day of school?
She's probing us.
I'm done. You pretend to be Joy.
What? Okay,
It was fine, I guess. I don't know. Oh, very smooth. That was just like Joy.
Something is definitely going on.
She's never acted like this before. What should we do? We're going to find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband. Ahem.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
What? Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What? What is it, woman? What?
He's making that stupid face again.
I could strangle him right now.
Signal him again.
So, Riley, how was school?
Are you kidding me?
For this, we gave up that Brazilian helicopter pilot?
Boo! I'll be Joy.
School was great, all right?
Riley, is everything okay?
Sir, she just rolled her eyes at us.
What is her deal? All right, make a show of force. I don't want to have to put the foot down.
No, not the foot.
Riley, I do not like this new attitude.
Oh, I'll show you attitude, okay? No. Stay happy!
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take it to DEFCON 2.
You heard that, gentlemen? DEFCON 2.
Listen, young lady, I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from.
You want a piece of this, Pops? Come and get it!
Yeah, well, look.
Here it comes. Prepare the foot.
Keys to second position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Just shut up!
Fire!
That's it. Go to your room. Now.
Foot is down. The foot is down.
Good job, gentlemen. That could have been a disaster.
Well, that was a disaster.
Come, fly with me, Gatinha.
So that gives you a little insight when you see what's happening in someone's mind. This poor little girl, through a series of events earlier in the movie, joy and sadness are missing, and you see the kind of reactions that happen when certain emotions are taking over, and it's just kind of interesting and fun to look at the differences. And I think it would be really helpful for all of us as we do interact with people to try to understand a little more deeply all the different emotions that are at play, to grow in that, to understand our own emotions, and then be able to understand and manage the emotions of others. And that's what it means to grow in emotional intelligence. All right, next time we'll start going through each one of these. We'll look at self-awareness.